welcome to some more Plan 6 Parts video. Today's video sequence is the Tr4. So this Tr4 we got, basically purchased it last year. It's not actually mine, but we purchased it because basically the owner, well, let's say the owner of the vehicle, had it a long time. He did a lot of work on it, but unfortunately he took ill health. The vehicle was basically parked in a barn for, I want to say maybe 10, maybe 15 years. So it has sat for a long time. And so we purchased it. And the plan is to have it up and running so we can show the family we bought it from that the car's been looked after and that it's back on the road. So yeah, it's set for a long time. The only thing I've done with it literally is put air in the tire to physically move it. And I only checked to make sure that the engine was not seized, because that's a huge thing if it was seized. And we're lucky it's not seized. So it rotated, great. So other than that, there's 15 years of sitting still in the barn to explore in here. So I'm hoping all the creepy crawlies or the furries have evacuated the building. They left a lot of belongings behind, I know that. So we're gonna have to go in and clean it. But let's go have a look at it. Okay, so, well, the engine bay. So everything is, I want to say, close to original in this car. He has done some work in the way of that. I can see straight away some of the coolant pipes are being rerouted, or should I say not being used. So does that. The carbs look great, considering they're set there for a long time. They look pretty good, although if you look carefully, you can see who was in there. Look, oh, well, guess who was in there. So, yay. I'm pretty sure he's not in there, but he was obviously sitting in the big metal hammock there, chilling out. Other than that, everything seems pretty original. The rad seems original, all the head, so on and so forth. It has some work done. Some repairs, some of the inner fenders are not great. I don't know, I'm pretty sure it's not the original colour. I think we have the paperwork to find out. But based on the inside, you'd swear the car was red. But this looks more like a primer than a paint. So the way I look at it, I probably would have guessed there is some black there. I don't know. I'll know the true colour when I decide to start pulling certain parts off. So there's a few little pieces I could pull off and I'll find the original paint underneath, because no matter what people paint, they never remove absolutely everything. So I can't imagine this got everything removed. He painted it himself, green. Looks like he got a spray can to it. It's not great, but like, you stand back, it's not the worst looking. It does need a good wash, don't get me wrong. We need to wash all the engine bay, wash all the inside, but it's not exactly a nice day. It's pretty much the end of the day and it's been raining. It's been pretty miserable out the last few days. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to work on cleaning the inside. So I'm going to take out whatever we can. I'm going to vacuum in here because, as you can see, the mices have left all the belongings in here. And I'm sure there's a lot I'm going to find. So the main thing for this is, the first thing I'd like to do is actually see if it starts. The fact that it's not seized, there's always a great possibility it will start. However, the fuel in the tank would be terrible. So like, I can either clean out the tank and put fresh fuel in it, or I can divert it and have it flown directly into the carbs to see if it fires. So there's a number of different things we can do. I'm trying not to do much to it. So I'm hoping the rad and all is okay to just have to clean it, and I'm not planning on taking it apart in any way, shape or form. I just plan on doing what we can to get it running. However, I need to find out what he was doing with this, because there's obviously some extra wires running here and there and everywhere. So I need to find out what he was jigging. So let's go around the other side. On this side, what we have is electric fuel pump. So he has an electric fuel pump here. This comes out from the tank, goes in, and obviously here's our pressure regulator. So that's pretty straightforward. So I just have to play with that. What I may do is I may break it and put a gauge here so I can see what this is doing, because I don't know what it's set to. Have to, when I clean it, let me zoom in. I don't think I see any markings on that. No, I don't see any markings to tell me what the pressure is. I presume we just unlock this and turn the screw and it adjusts it. So I'll put a gauge. I'll get a pressure gauge and I'll put it there, and then I can read it. Everything else seems pretty straightforward the way it should be. Obviously, there's a bit of a pipe here, a bit of a change. So we'll see what that is. It doesn't look anything wrong with it. Looks like it's piped in pretty decent. It doesn't look like it's meant to be there. So we'll look at that. And then we're going to look at all like the master cylinders and the brakes. So here's the part I hate, because I hate when I open this and I see what looks like a melted gummy bear. And all I see is this Sahara Desert here. She is bone dry. So I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. I won't know till I press some pedals. I suppose dry is better than solidified. Oh god, I can't even get that open. I need a vice grips for them. I just want to make sure that they're okay, that I can do work okay. So since that's bone dry, I'm going to end up taking these off and, to be honest, blowing the air through. So I'll disconnect the brakes and all that jazz and blow through. So a lot of stuff I'm going to do is to make sure that the car is good for the road, because with that, obviously these wheels are not going to stay in it. We have a nice set of wheels that's going to go on it. I'm probably going to, I'll obviously do the brakes and new discs and all that jazz, providing they're okay. But if they set there for so long, there's always a possibility something could be gone wrong. Be nice to put a new rubber in for the glass, because obviously this is going to have to get safety. So I'm going to have to basically go over everything I have to need to go over to make sure it's safety. So like all the wipers and everything will have to work and all that jazz. Yeah, it's definitely some interesting paint. It's, like I said, it looks like a primer where you primed it, and that's what basically the engine bay looks like. I like the steering wheel. I like the steering wheel. It's a good grip on it. I like that one. But there's definitely a lot going on in here. There's nothing going on in there. There's, apart from the regulator, that's the only thing that's going on in there. So lucky enough, I have some Tr4 doors at the back, so like I can always steal from them. Or swap the door, because to be honest, it's going to get painted, so like probably be easy to swap a door. The dash looks pretty okay. Obviously there's some cracking up the top that I'm not fond of. So if we're changing the seals, we'll see about changing the top pad. But it's not a necessity right now. We may leave that down the line. It's not nothing to do with safety. We just want to get it up and running. God, it smells. Oof, it smells as if all the carpet. I'm taking all that. I'm power washing all that. Like it definitely. The seats are coming out, and that's all going to get washed. As you can see, he's sort of turned his car into a bit of Thunderboards. So we've quite the array of switches here. These are missing knobs, but I don't know what these do. I mean, maybe some James Bond. Maybe flick the switch, and maybe that's an ejector seat. I mean. So when your sat nav beside you, giving you directions and instructions, and no matter what you press, it doesn't turn off. Just flick the switch and phew. I didn't say that. So anyway, maybe. So what we're going to do is we're going to check all them to see what that actually belongs to, because that's just made. That's just a piece of angle iron that he's made. So I don't know what they actually do. I'm not fond of that gauge here. It's pretty crooked and all over the place. Look, don't get me wrong. It looks like he was setting this car up for racing. That's what I'm going to say. He didn't do in a way of it. Didn't strip it for racing. That's for sure. But the roll bar is not a telltale sign. Yes and no, because it's not exactly a roll bar that should be in it. So obviously doing some body work. Filler there. So yeah, it's not a bad car in the way. Oh, hang on, looking at the firewall, looking for colours here. Still shows red. Maybe she was red. Maybe. That's where I'll find out. Like I'll look up in here, and there'll be some original colouring up there. I'll find it, or pull all the carpet. I'll find something. I'll take something off and I'll find out the color. Like I know for a fact if I took the windscreen frame off, I'll find it under here. But I don't know if I want to go that far. Interesting roll bar. It's hard to know what to say. Like you obviously, I'll give it this. It's definitely different if you want to put a Tr4 brake light in, like straight off a trailer. It's different. I'll give it that. And at least it gives them a good access point for seatbelts, which you can see we're pretty tanned. Two-stage, two-tone seatbelts. Huh? Not a bad idea. We may end up leaving them there. I don't know if I'm fond of this though. I don't know how safe or secure that is. It could be fine. I'll have to look a bit more into it. There's obviously tape on it. But I'll probably remove this. If you want to Tr4 brake light, most likely I'll swap that with something a bit more neater looking, to say the word. Obviously it needs all panel kit on the inside, so we're going to put a whole panel kit in. I believe we have a decent used one to throw in. There is some bits and pieces there, but we'll see. We'll see about getting a new one. We have a soft top for it, which I left on the floor here. So it has a nice white soft top that's going to go on. So that's why we may end up removing the roll bar to get the soft top on. The back end of it is, at least it's in one piece, to say the word. I'll just see if this is broken or is it like that. I'm not 100%, I'm pretty sure it's broken. It's meant to go all the way around. Like all the badging and all is missing, but I have all that. There you go, stay up. So, greeted by a waft. Yeah. I don't know if I'm going to vacuum it first or take it out and power wash it. But I certainly won't be putting my hands in here without gloves on. Yeah. Nothing in here is giving away for the colour. That looks like it looks like it's just been sprayed. But look, there's more. I wonder was it red. That's a few indications now. It was red. Like that is red, but that's not meant to be red. But that would give you an idea if it was done over some time. Yeah, I would always take the lights off, but then again, people take the lights off to do that painting. To find something good to take off that's going to give the colour away. Usually it's up in the dash, because nobody gets right up in there. Usually they'll take the handles off, they'll take this off, they'll take that off. Look. Red. I keep seeing red. Maybe she is a red car. Anyway, look, even under here, look, there's more red. But again, that's God knows how many times it could have been painted over its lifetime. Like it's a 60. I don't know what it is. 60s. I haven't a clue. I have no idea what year it is. So yeah, it's not going to say now. I'm just guessing. Yeah, that's it. But look, yeah, everywhere I look, I see bits of red. So me's a thinking it was originally a red car. But at the end of the day, if you want to do a green, you can do whatever color you want. Look at us, we have a silver one. So that's it. So what I'll do is I am going to start and get the old music on, get the gloves on, and I'm going to start vacuuming as much as I can and taking out whatever I can, i.e. seats and all that jazz. I said it's just enough. I'm doing what I can to get it looking nice, get it ready for the road, and get it safetied. So I'm not too concerned about like the dash pad parts. That's another day's project. That sounds like a winter project. So, all right. Well, so let's get cracking on this. Whew, getting there. I've cleaned it. The floor looks like it's pretty good. the floor looks great. But you can see the difference between new carpet, older, and original. So 3-tone carpet here. So we'll see if I put a new one in. Again, I'm not worried about it at the moment, that's a winter project, but slowly getting there. So I'll bring that one outside. That takes more of a brunt, so I might power wash them because that's usually where the feet go. Same as that, it's going to get washed, and that's going to get washed. Oh, God, that's telling me nose. Got poopy, mousy stuff everywhere. Alright, keep going. Here we go. Alright, so I've stopped the vacuum because I got all the way around here and realised that some of the carpet is missing. So the carpet is missing on that side, the whole rocker, and half it is missing on this side. So I do have a carpet kit here, so I'm going to see if he wants a new carpet kit, and that way I don't have to vacuum the rest of it. I've done the engine bay, as you can see, but if you want to know what I've done, the red canister actually has petrol in it, or you call it here in Canada gas, but it's a liquid. And I've been using that basically since the 90s to wash engine bays. I've used one of them. They're great because, don't get me wrong, it's mainly for the fuel injection, but it just means you can actually blast all in here where the plugs are because it's fuel. You can blast the carburetors because at the end of the day it's only fuel. You can't go wrong with it. And it's great for cleaning. It stinks, that's the only problem. It really stinks the engine bay. So what I've done is I gave it a wash with some Dawn dish soap after. Obviously I blocked off the carbs. And then I just ran a light wash over it. You can power wash the engine, you really can. As long as you don't power wash where the plugs are. And obviously where the carbs are. If you have a fuel injection, not where the injectors are, because basically you'll get war in there and that's what you don't want. So yeah, I'll just clean it up because obviously after the mices have been in here, I want to be able to work on the engine. I don't fancy leaning in on all the how do I say, the all their coats and everything, all that jazz. Anyway, so it's cleaner, like it's not spotless to say the word. But what I will do is it will allow me to test it. Now the good thing, like I said, is the engine's not seized, so it rotates. So what I can do is I can take the fuel pump and I'll disconnect the fuel line because I have to clean the tank anyway. And I'm going to connect it into a jerry can. Then I'm going to power it up and see if it lifts fuel and sends it to the carburetors. Because I can guarantee the fuel in that carburetors are terrible. So in the best world, what I'll probably do, most likely, is I'll undo the bowls and drop it and just pour the fuel out. Just so clean fuel is going in there. Now, don't get me wrong. If it goes around, eventually it will become clean fuel. Eventually. But I want to see if first of all the fuel pump is working. And then I can put plugs in it and see if she goes bang. Before I do any of it, though, one of the first things I will do before anything is I will do a water pressure test. So some of the hosing is not on. So I will drain that and I'll put new coolant in. I'll do my pressure test, the 15 psi test, and I will see is there any leaks anywhere first before I do anything. I'll try that. There is some interesting stuff on this. I just noticed that hidden at the front here. There's a makeshift fan, so push fan. So he has that wired up, and I reckon that's what one of the switches is for. So if that's the case, I might keep that concept, except put my own one in and remove the original fan from down there. The metal, take that one off, so it's less. The radiator, I'm a bit skeptical if she actually, let me go this side of the light. The radiator, I'm skeptical if it actually works, because I don't know, it looks pretty worn, to say the word. Like, I'm pretty sure that's the original one, so like, she's 60 years old. I hear hissing, it's the tire. Is it? No, it's that actually, believe it or not. Because I know this tire is leaking. Yeah, I'm not worried about them, they're all coming off anyway. So, yeah, I want to do that, because I want to see if the engine fires. The few small things I'll do with it, obviously, other than the filters for the carbs, is I'm probably going to change a lot of the rad hose, like the heater hose. I want to check for leaks first, because that should be plugged in. I may put it back to original. Obviously, I'm going to check the belt. Most likely replace the water pump. Most likely, may not. It does rotate, so it could be okay. And yeah, from there, and I just want to see if the engine runs. That's the main thing, to see if the engine runs. And from there, everything else is being cleaned out. So all the brakes, I'm going to redo anyway. I'm going to disconnect and blow air through all the lines, make sure it's all clean, and then we'll redo it. So this one does not have an overdrive. But if I go by the switches, like I said, there's a few switches in the middle. So we're going to have a guess what one was what. Like, we have the blue one, which could be the fan. That's a pull one. So I don't know what that would be. That's an interesting looking one. It's a rocker switch, but it has a light on it. I never checked the gearbox to see if this has overdrive. I wonder if it has overdrive and you just put a switch down there. That's a possibility. We'll find out. I was pretty sure it doesn't have overdrive, but we'll find out. Again, based on the fact that you put that in, maybe it's some NOS. Woof, rocket fuel. So yeah, it's interesting to see what them switches are. I'll follow wires, but yeah. Yeah, anyway, that's it. So I'm going to see if he wants carpet before I go any further. Before delving it. At least the engine bay is clean, so now I can actually float around in there and not worry about it. Obviously, I'm going to let it dry overnight. And that's it. Alright, so we'll see in the next bit, and we'll see if I'm putting carpet in it. Alright, thanks for watching. Alright, so I've flushed out the inside. Taking the carpet up was actually pretty easy, so we took the belts out, and then obviously he made his own brackets for the roll bar, which very interesting. It's an interesting roll bar. Obviously he was a welder and he was able to make his own. It looked impressive. It was certainly bolted in there, that's for sure. And tank is interesting. So I wonder if he make his own tank. So should be a good one. Like, it looks homemade. And yeah. Other than that, all the floor looks good. I'm pretty happy with the floor. So what I'll probably do is go over, I'll clean it up. We'll get it clean. I'll go over with some seam sealer just to cut in everything before we put the flooring down. So I'm going to go with the both the sealer and the soundproofing, so the file floor. I'm going to put that down. And yeah, but like, even though the middle looks pretty clean, all pretty good. I did check it, by the way, and there is no overdrive. So I checked last night. There's no overdrive, so I still don't know what them switches do until I go and follow the wiring. But now that's out. I've had a quick look at the suspension. I was taking notes on my board, what I need. And straight off I look at it, and the first thing that pops out to me is like the top ball joint. So the top ball joint, then we're looking at the upper joints there. So I'll zoom in so you can see. So they're all perished in here, so we'll change them out for poly ones. The bottom ones look pretty good, so I won't touch them. I don't know about the shock. I don't know whether to change that or not. When I go to take this off, I'll take the shock out obviously, but I'll probably end up swapping it. But again, look, here we go. Here is more clues. It was a red car. Red, and that's gloss red. So I'm still going to put it that we have an original red car that you painted green. Now again, it doesn't make a difference because I'm pretty sure the owner is going to get it sprayed. So whatever he wants to do, he wants to do. There is some patchwork you can see. Obviously the oh no, that's pretty dark actually. He's done this patchwork himself. The frame itself underneath is pretty good. I can't tell for these, so what I'll probably end up doing is swapping out these anyway. All these flexi lines are going to come out because these set so long. I can't trust that are going to hold up. The disc actually, as much as it looks bad, actually is pretty good. I'm going to go over with some brake cleaner. The pads look good. It looks like he probably changed them at some point and never touched it since. The ball joints look okay. It's hard to see if they're perished or just full of grease. So again, I'll put some spray in it and I'll see what it looks like after I spray it. That was the fan. So debating what to do with that fan. I might just take it off and put my own bracket. There is a fan available for it. Oh, and that's another one's rad. So I'm looking at the radiator. This one has a short stump. So I'm wondering if you took it off and welded it and stopped it coming all the way back, just to be different, because none of them have a short stump. So I'm just wondering what that is on doing, or who knows, even the previous owner before that. So what I did is, and I'm lucky enough, I have an original one here. So that's going to get it clean, and I'm going to put that one in. So again, do I have to swap it? No, but at least, you know what, I'm draining the system anyway. So it gives me a chance to have a look at it. And so I'm going to take that electric fan out. Because I don't know, I'm pretty sure he has a rig for the fan just to turn on whenever he needs it. Yeah, so we'll probably do the same. But again, do we need this in here? No, we don't actually need that. As long as you're driving around, especially out here in the countryside, it's I mean, you're not sitting in traffic, so like there's no need to have the fan. And if you need it, you can just turn that on. When you sit still, you can flick a switch and turn it on. So that's a good possibility. That's a good viable system for if you're out in the sticks somewhere. If you're in a city, I'd recommend get the one that goes by temperature, because you're going to be sitting a long time. Yeah, there's our tag. There's our commission plate. So everything else is lining up. Yeah, like I said, I just have to follow a lot of the wiring you've done to see where it goes, to see what works, what doesn't work. But yeah, I'm going to start pulling all the piping off now. And I'm getting a new belt. So that's irrelevant. I'm going to loosen it all off and swap it. And I said, well, this looks fine. There's no reason to get rid of this one. But we'll swap out the rad, and we shall swap out all this heater hose just to put all these back where they're meant to be. The only piece I think I don't have is this, not in that size. So I'll have to see. I might have to order that one. That's it. The rear end looks okay. The only thing I did notice is the bump stop. There was a lot of silicone here for whatever reason. I think he had on the other side as well. Probably stopped the bump stop from moving. So we may end up, what I'll do is I'll put the stand under here and lift it, and we'll swap out that bump stop. I believe we have them in stock. Yeah. Oh no, it's actually pretty clean. It's a clean car. Like, we'll see. I have to take the brakes off and make sure all the shoes are okay and all that jazz. But yeah. As for the rear end of it, it's a bit of a mystery, because we know Triumph goes across here and the Tr4 badge goes here. But I'm guessing these might be the holes for the plate, but you look a little narrow. And again, this, because it's painted the same as the car, I don't know what that came from. So that's not correct. I just don't know where the original light goes, if there's one. So I don't know. I'm going to have a look at that one and see what we're going to do with that. Because it's going to get it painted, so like, well, it should be. So I don't see a reason to throw them in just yet. It's not my concern. Obviously, all the electronics is all going to get done first. Yeah, that's it. So slowly getting there. Took out all the bolts. You can see all the nuts and bolts, so it's time to clean up all that mess. Let it dry out because obviously it's still wet when I washed it yesterday. And that's it. Alright, so onwards and upwards we go. So the get it back on the road project is keep going. So, yeah, I think I'm getting on the road. Look at that. Look at that heavy walker out there. Look at that heavy walker. Plugging away on our Tr4. Just killing it out there. Look at that. Trojan walk. And then look at that security guard. Hey, security. Yeah, we have a bit of a garage sale, so we shouldn't go, but basically she's acting as a big doorbell. Isn't that right? Yeah. Just wants, yeah, attention. Alright, that's it. Alright, so we keep going, so see you in a bit. Okay, so take some bits and pieces out. So we have taken, we've drained the rad. We've taken the rad out, haven't we?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we take the rad out, and we're going to put the other one in. I've taken the belt off because I want to get a new belt in there. So before I put the new rad in, I used it to the advantage because I ran it's not easy to get the belt off. You either have to loosen off the engine mounts and move the engine, or what I managed to do is basically put a pry bar between the bottom of the fan blade and it's the steering rack. So such a gap there, it's just enough. So I was able to just pry in there enough to get it to pop in. So I'll have to do the same to get it in, just to lift it a bit. I was going to get the trolley jack and actually jack the engine a bit to see if I can get it. So most likely what I would have to do is go down there and loosen them, but I was able to get it. I was only able to get it because the rad was not there, so I left me with the gap to do it. So that's why I'm going to wait and put the new belt in when before I put the rad in, do that. So in the meantime, what I'm going to do is I'm going to look at replacing the hose and replacing like the heater valve. I'm going to replace all that, and then everything else seems to be pretty decent what he's done. Like some of the hoses are good, the fuel lines is good, like the fuel lines here from the carbs, all that sort of thing. So it's actually not bad at all. Like I'm just looking at the brakes are okay. So what I'll do now is while I'm waiting for the fan belt, because we don't have them in stock, while I'm waiting for that, what I will do is I will probably start working on the bushings. So this is pretty much identical to the Tr6. So we should have the upper bushings, and we should have the top ball joint. So I can start stripping this off to do them. And obviously I'm going to take the caliper apart. So just to make sure it's working, because again, I'm not saying it's not, but I want to be able to blow out the lines because I'm going to change these anyway. So because I just don't trust that the rubber lines they're still okay after sitting for so long. So I'd rather take it apart, and then I'm going to take these off and I'm going to reset them to make sure they're actually working okay, and spray some brake cleaner in there. And like I said, I'm just worried about the shocks. These should be okay. The car's set for so long, I have no reason to want to change the shocks. But if we happen to have a set, I may just do it just for the sake of doing it, because I need to take the shock anyway to put the spring compressor in to compress it to allow me to take to change the top ball joint and the top suspension. So alright, a little bit of cleanup, and then we're going to get cracking on that. So that's probably going to be, actually, you know what, yeah, I'm going to do it that. Alright, so let's get cracking with that. Alright, so yeah, I said I was going to get cracking on the suspension, but I got a little held up. I won't say I got held up, I actually got sidetracked. So what I actually done was I somehow got sucked into filling all the holes in the floor. So basically what I done was I took rivets, large rivets. This size rivets, look at the size of them. They're pretty big. But the hole to be in the floor were literally like 1/4 inch holes. So instead of, I was going to originally put little nuts and bolts back in and fill it in, but to be honest, these rivets were great. They're literally 1/4 inch rivets. They're pretty fat. So what I simply done was I stuck them in each hole, riveted it, and then I put a bit of silicone over it. Now, does it look great? No, I don't care about that, because what I'm doing is I'm actually putting the covering all over the floor anyway. So I'm actually soundproofing and sealing the floor anyway. So that's irrelevant. That was just start with before I put it down, because I don't want anything coming in. Other than that, I got sucked into carbs. So I don't know why, I came over and I looked at them, and I think what it was is I was staring at them, debating whether, like, I was looking at this and what I was going to do, and I was looking up all the hoses, and then for some unknown reason, I guess I just stood here and went to throttle it, and I'd done nothing. I'm like, it's not actually doing anything. This linkage was on this side and this linkage was on that side, obviously, but they weren't in where they're supposed to be. Like, they weren't in here, they were just free floating, just hanging there. So this one was actually hanging in here, and then this that one was back here again, just hanging. So nothing was actually connected. So when you actually pull the throttle, it just spun. So I've done absolutely nothing. So I don't know if he was just playing around with it. If I have to go find out and see where he was with this, in the way of, did he actually have it running? And maybe that's why he couldn't, because he had them all reversed. Even the springs, you had the spring wrapped up in here, which you could do, but like, there is a little slot back here for the spring to sit in, because there's more than enough spring in that. That's perfect. So yeah, and you ever notice if you ever get these, there's a little notch down there specifically for the springs. So let's see. Oh, look, it's not in the notch there. If it wasn't for the camera, I wouldn't have popped that. There we go. There it goes. So that's where them notches are there to hold the springs in places. Obviously the smaller the spring, the more tension you get, but the more you wear it out, which means it will not come back. Anyway, so I readjusted these. I got them set in the way they're meant to go, so all is good there. Now I have to get a choke cable, because obviously there's not a hope in hell this is going to reach. And since these are not, well, they're sort of spring loaded, I suppose I could put a spring here down to there and make it spring loaded that it closes. That way I can use a soft cable compared to a stiff hardwire one. But this has to make it into one of the two ports, which looks like this one. So it's a steel cable, so I'm gonna have to go get a new one for that. I might actually have them here. I might not. We'll see. But yeah, that's it. So that's where I got stuck with. So I guess this is it for part 1. And when we come back to part 2, I'll kick off and start doing the suspension like I said I would do. But no, me, I'll get stuck into something else, because I'll do the doors. There's no glass in the doors. So now what I might do is I'll end up walking out and I'll have a look at the Tr4 doors I have here, and either one or two things will happen. If the mechanism is all in, it's a case of just dropping the glass in and so on, then that's what I'll do. I'll take the glass out there. Actually, I might even have Tr4 glass already out, which is great. If not, I'll just swap the door. I'll just take a door and swap it, because it's going to get painted anyway, so what it looks like aesthetically is irrelevant. But yeah, I'm going to start getting into taking the glass out. That's going to be fun. Oh, there's nothing better than taking a windscreen out and pumping them back in. And yeah, so it needs a good wash. Well, I'm saying, well, it needs a clean here. It's bugging me that this is all dirty, but it is what it is. So yeah, and it's frosty in here now because, like I said, I cleaned it with fuel. So when you clean it with fuel, it always fogs up after it. But there's not much you can do about that. Like, I don't think it's going to change much. We'll may get around to paint, spraying it black, but that's something that's definitely going to be done down the line, and that'd be quite a job, because you have to take everything off and mask it. Don't know how to do it in stages. Like, I do a matte black and do it in little stages, like take this off, spray it here, put it back on, and you walk your way around. I took the battery off, so that's on charge over behind the P6P there to see if it's actually useful or not. It looks like a new enough battery. Like, it doesn't look old, So a lot of this stuff looks like, even though it's set in the garage for I think for over 10 years, and I'll find out for sure. I'll send a message and find out how long it's set in the garage. He must have been tampering with it up to pretty recent, because even the holes on the inside here, like the holes that's on the heater box is new enough holes. Like, it's not old holes like from 15 years ago. So within the last 5 years or plus, he must have been still tinkering with it, doing a few things. So, but I look forward to doing this and actually seeing if it turns over and starts. So all the coolant is out. I'll have to drop all the oil. No, the coolant actually was pretty clean, I have to say. It looked like it was put in it. The car was run, and then that was it. Like, it wasn't burnt. It wasn't dirty. In fact, no dirt at all came out. So like, I was pretty impressed how clean it was. So that's good news for the rest of it. Anyway, that's it. So yeah, that's the end of part 1, and I'll see you in part 2 when we start delving further into the Tr4. And hopefully by then I'll have the stuff and we can start putting all the nice new carpet in and start putting some nice stuff in. Alright, see you then. Thanks for watching. Appreciate it.